during this meeting.
There you go.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Selectmen's meeting of July 17th, 2018. Everybody be quiet, please. Thank you. Roll call.
I'm sorry. All right, 4 selectmen present this evening, and town administrator and town council. Mr. Scasiotti is absent.
Mr. Sweat, you can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance since you were noisy.
Announcements.
Nope.
Announcements?
Peter, go for it.
Yep. Tickets are now available for the second annual Meet Me at the Tremont event at the Tremont Nail Factory, 8 Elm Street. This is going to be Saturday night, August 25th, from 5:30 until 8:30 p.m. Tickets are $35 a piece. It's going to be catered by the Minkle Brothers. There's going to be music from, what's the name of that band? Daddy-O, which is a 50s cover band. And there's going to be a potter on site making pottery, which is a little bit different. Last year there was an art judging contest. This year there's going to be an actual potter out there pottering away.
Uttering away.
In light of recent events, you know, it's becoming clear that Tremont Nail might be the host of Pot and Pottery. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but no, I think that was my announcement.
Patrick?
No, I'm good. I got everybody's here, so we'll move on.
Well, that's okay. I'll kill some time. All right. I'd like to thank everybody for the Swan Festival. The event's coming back. It's slow and steady growing. It's good to see. You know, basically Main Street being used as well again. We had a art show down at the Historical Society building, and that worked out well. It was also on Marion Road, right across from Town Hall. They had a pop-up art show, which I've never seen before. I don't think we licensed it, but that's okay. Just being facetious. I'd like to really reach out to the police department. They've been extremely active in the last month, basically taking care of issues, cleaning up on Main Street, dealing with a lot of issues, and they need to be thanked when you see them. Just say thank you for your service, as we do for the veterans and everything else. It's a tough job. We've had, unfortunately, every time you turn around, it seems another policeman gets killed in the line of duty, and it's really not the way we should be living. And also, for those people like myself that like ice cream and are overweight, we have a new ice cream store downtown, across from the TD Bank in the alleyway there, and they use the Acushnet Creamery for their ice cream, which is probably the best ice cream in the area. So if you like ice cream, have some fun. That's it.
Okay, citizens' comments. Come on down.
Gotta be my wife.
Who else would it be?
That's right. Uh-oh, she has paperwork.
She's got paper. Uh-oh.
Number 5 minutes.
Thank you, Sandy Slavin. Yes, the ice cream place has been open 5 days, and I've been there 5 times. Alan has written that I'm growing into his T-shirts. Yes. You have before you an appointment to 2 people to the Open Space Committee tonight, and I want to thank both Trenton Blanchard and Amanda Smith for their efforts on the Open Space Committee for the last couple of years. They have both recently resigned. Trenton was very much involved in getting us the dog park on the CPA grant and the land available for the dog park, and Amanda Smith with Renee Moniz has been strong, very strong, in getting the Lukey playground done and just about completed. So I wanted to publicly thank them for their service to open space and to the town. But what they did for Lukey Hathaway Playground is just unbelievable. This is a question. I'm not sure. I missed a meeting, believe it or not. No. I missed a meeting. Now, the minutes came up and I abstained And the chair of the committee told me I didn't need to abstain, that I could vote on them. It's my understanding I must abstain unless I have seen the recording or heard the recording of the meeting. Can I get clarification on that?
You're correct.
I have to abstain if I have not seen or heard the meeting.
Correct. If you don't read the minutes, if the minutes have been approved, or if you don't go back, if there's a recording, then you really should abstain.
I
But you-
read the minutes, but I wasn't there to say whether or not the minutes were good, so I have to abstain.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to verify that. And, the sign bylaw, I know it's been in effect for, what, a year and a half now? And there was some talk about modifying it one way or the other.
2011,
That long ago?
Yeah, that's,
yes.
Aw, come on.
I think it was 2013, but
Started
Oh.
in 2011.
it's been a while.
There is a discussion in a household that I know. If somebody is putting out a sign for a open house real estate, do they have any leeway to put it on town property to promote the open house?
No.
For any length of time or anything like that?
Not under the
the
bylaw.
bylaw is written, no.
Okay. Has anybody told the realtors no?
Some have been.
I think some
Yeah,
have been.
actually,
Keep
they went
finding-
out and, if you remember,
Yeah, what's his
Selectman
name, went and told them
Whiteside
all, right? Yeah.
sent out registered
yeah.
letters to all the real estate companies within our town.
I keep finding open house signs in my yard.
Really?
Is your house for sale?
That might be wishful
They-
thinking.
Alan?
What's going on, Alan?
He says, they're not allowed, I'm taking them. So, but that's beside the point. Also, if someone has a garage sale or a yard sale or anything like that, are they allowed to put any sign on the, any town, for any way, shape, or form, for any time?
Nope, no town property, no telephone poles, no nothing.
Utility poles, no state property, et
So
cetera.
that's why I'm also finding signs in my yard from yard sales that have been picked up.
Yes, there.
So they're donating them to you?
Well, somehow they're ending up there until they can end up at the dumpster behind the town hall. And I thought they were given a little leeway for the day of the sale, and the answer is no. So
There are no exceptions to the portion of the bylaw that says you have to come to the Board of Selectmen to get permission to put signs on town property. There's no exception for Realtor, there's no exceptions for yard sales or anything else.
Also, to be clear, if it's in a historic district piece of property, we as a board do not have authority on that either.
Well,
Well, I think
I've
that's
heard that
specific to
message.
the town green, actually. I don't know if it covers the rest of the
Heard that
historic
message.
district.
Yes.
They may have to co-authorize it.
Yes.
It gets difficult with signs, folks. Very complicated.
The
Maybe-
bylaw is going to need some updating, in my
Speaking, and I was
opinion, and
wondering-
hopefully we'll talk about it at some point.
See, that's my list. Thank you very much. Have a good meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear.
Board
Thank you, dear.
comments.
Peter? Patrick? Well, I guess I'm on a roll today. Just so everybody
For
understands,
saving you time.
saving me time, thank you. Back about 4 years ago, when the Cape Flyer came in, basically the railroad, Mass DOT, cleared a bunch of the debris and brush behind Merchants Way. Most of that has grown back in again, and we've lost a lot of the view. So just so everybody knows, we've made some arrangements. It'll be coming down probably next month or so. The railroad will be basically in charge of clearing that out because they have the authority, and they don't have to go through all the rules and regulations that we do as a town. So if you see it there, don't be upset that, something's happening that you can't do, because they can actually. Because just let everybody know
We're
that.
concerned about the safety of them being unable to see people along the rails.
That's called population control, but we won't go there. The other piece, too, is we have, from a political standpoint, there's been a lot of what I would call disruption in the system and everything of what's going on. A lot of barriers are being broken apart, et cetera. And it's causing people a lot of grief that don't want to accept what's the changes and do. But at the end of the day, everybody needs to kind of step back and think about what's really happening overall, and not get so excited about things, because in the long run, things will settle out. But I'm more concerned with the disruptions going on and how people are reacting to it. So we just ask your patience. There's a lot of things happening, even at the local level here. We do the best we can, but it's nothing simple. Everything you try and do, we have it's not really a joke, but it's a kind of a laughing thing, that no good deed goes unpunished in Wareham. And I can tell you, everybody up here on this board feels that way at times, so we are trying, so please give us time to get everything resolved. Thank you.
All right, okay, let's skip to the school building committee. Let's get them out, yeah?
Okay,
Is over announcements, do you mind?
I don't care.
Can we have the school building committee come up, please?
School committee too, right, all of them. Who's the request from? School committee, isn't it?
It's the
This
school
is
committee,
just to
actually.
put it on the ballot, you know, that's all.
Right, but the request is actually from the school committee, isn't it, to do this?
The school committee,
So they should all come up.
and they're all coming. The school committee's here, everybody's here.
Good.
Joyce.
I'd like everybody to introduce themselves, even the ones that are hiding a row or two back.
Hi, gang.
Go ahead. That's the thunderstorm that's coming.
So much for the game.
I'm Jeff Sweat, I'm chairman of the school building committee.
Joyce Bakayaki, Chair of the School Committee. Kim Shaver-Hood, Superintendent.
Chad Crittenden, Owner's Project Manager.
And Joan Siemens, Principal at Minot Forest.
Michael?
No, go ahead. You're here.
Yeah, you're not getting a free ride.
Rebecca Pratt, School Committee Member.
There we go.
Cohen, Business Manager.
You may want to...
Oh, okay.
She
How'd
was
you wind
looking
up
for
with
the-
this crew?
She was looking for the elevator. All right, so just tell us why you're here, I guess.
Actually, we requested them to be here because we have the ballot question, which we basically, as a board, have to vote that we're going to put it on the ballot
Yeah, we
because
don't,
it has to be done by
I
a
do not
certain
have
date
it, by
time.
the way.
And I think we only have another week.
I don't have
We
it
we
in
don't
here.
have it here, and we don't have it written, but it's really a matter of if the board wants to go ahead and put it on the
Okay,
ballot.
all
That's
right,
what
we'll
we
just
have to
make the
do
vote
today.
and then we'll take it. Okay.
Right.
What I want to do is, if, Mary, you have any questions on this?
About putting it on the ballot? No.
Peter?
Peter?
No.
Okay, I move we, God, you, oh,
I'm
you,
going to be a little bit disruptive, I apologize.
okay, well,
ahead of time.
okay, you be
Do
disruptive.
you have a copy of the question?
No, can you
No.
bring it up?
No, and my concern is that everybody understands is the actual question that goes on the ballot has to be exactly what goes on town meeting warrant.
Right.
If it isn't, it gets thrown out completely.
Yep.
So we have no choice on this when we do this.
Yeah, this is the question, though. I'm pretty sure they've
I think we're
researched.
probably going to vote based on that we're going to let the public, the citizens of the town of Wareham make the decision, rather than sit there and say yes, no, whatever. My one concern overall, I interact with a lot of selectmen and town managers, et cetera, for the Mass Municipal Association. We've been, for years, going back for me, 13 years now, the accounting from the school departments, et cetera, are kind of interesting, and how money is spent and not spent, how money's returned by different departments and not by the school. What I'm hoping as we go forward, we change the way we do things and be more of a team rather than, it's very aggravating for me to sit there and have to talk to people saying it's like town government versus school department. It's completely wrong. It's a town, and it's all the same, and we need to resolve this issue that's there. And it's not Wareham, it's every one of the 351 municipalities in the state, because I talk to all of them now, and it's the same thing. You know, the school department's breaking our budget. Well, the system is breaking your budget, and I'm hopefully that, we saw Susan Gifford this morning, and it looks as if the state is actually finally going to tackle the Chapter 70 formula. And it looks like there's a good chance this stuff might get passed. They only got about, I think, 4 or 5 days to get this in for this year, but there's a chance that some funding and the way this is done will change, and hopefully it'll make it a lot easier. Because right now, we're like pitting everybody against each other for dollars, and it doesn't work. So I just want to make that comment, you know, that we need to do that. The other piece is we have, and I'm speaking out of turn, really, where the weight room is, which has always been a little sore spot for me. We have a chance to take that building and do multiple use with it, so I'm hoping the school department will work with us to make that happen. I'm not going to get into details, but
happening,
just
isn't
to
it?
let you know.
Why don't you
No,
Anybody?
it's just a comment.
I don't think there's any need to speak about it.
No, it's not. I just, you know,
Speaking, and
I know
think
there's
it's
3
great.
different parties involved, and I'm hoping this works out for everybody.
All right,
That's it.
all right. I move we put the following ballot question on November ballot. Shall the town of Wareham be allowed to exempt from the provisions of Proposition 2 1/2, so-called the amount required to pay for the bonds issued in order to construct a new pre-K through 4 grade elementary school on the existing Minot Forest school site, included the payment of all costs incidental or relevant thereto.
Second.
Any questions from the board? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank the school building committee and the superintendent, staff of the Wareham Public Schools, and last but not least, the school committee for all the work they've put in on this. Regardless of the outcome, we know that you're doing this out of a feeling that the new school is in the best interest of the children of Wareham, and I agree. Thank you for all your hard work.
And don't forget Chad, originally a local person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back to appointments. All right, so, the first appointments that we have are
Council on Aging.
quite a list. This is the poll workers and the precinct.
Move as presented.
Yes, thank you.
Took care of that.
Very good, that's what I needed.
Yep.
Motion by Peter, second by
Me.
Patrick. Any questions? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400.
All right,
Save
that's
15
awesome.
minutes.
I think the newspaper is here, anybody, so.
That was
I'll let
awesome.
Mary say it. You can, if you want after the meeting, if you want to come up, you can copy down the list.
I can't hear you, Alan.
Well, Megan's here, too.
Sorry, oh, I didn't see them both.
Yep.
After the meeting, we'll have a copy of the list here. We can make a copy, give it to both of you, so you can print it in the newspaper if you
Of
want.
what, the poll workers?
Poll workers. A lot of times they
Okay.
actually list them.
Next,
Oh, okay.
next I have open space. Let's see what I got here.
That's
Open space.
a nice name for a committee.
Yeah. All right, I have 2 people for the open space committee.
I believe they're both from Shangri-La.
All right, let me just get,
Stepped up.
Yeah, see if they're here.
Read the names here.
that's
I'm not
only
sure.
one. Hold on, I got another one here. I gotta just find it.
Did you shuffle that thing before the meeting?
I didn't do anything, I wasn't here on time. Is Carol Mellinson here? Why don't you come up to the table, dear?
Yeah, but there's another one.
Yeah, there's a gentleman.
I know, but it's not here. It's not in the thing here.
Hello.
Veterans Council, Veterans Council, Veterans Council, Veterans Council. Let's see, what do we got here? Council on Aging Director, Directors. No, it's not here.
It's supposed to be two.
It's supposed to be
Craig
2.
is not here.
Who is,
Get us,
Yeah, we don't have paperwork for it, so we don't have a date. We'll have to pass and just do it next week.
all right,
I know there was two.
we'll do it next week. Give it a
All
minute. All right, Carol Melanson,
Melanson.
okay? So welcome.
Thank you.
So you think you're gonna be good on the open space committee? You can hardly wait, right?
Oh, yeah.
Great. All right, is there anything you want to say to us, or?
No.
Okay. All right,
I
move-
told Carol after meeting her today, I was going to say no way, but I was just joking.
He found out I can herd cats,
That's
so.
right.
I move we approve Carol Melanson to the Open Space Committee to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2021.
Second.
Any questions from the board?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400. And hopefully you'll be working on the Shangri-La
Move
playground.
up so they can hear
Oh,
you.
we're already starting.
But you have to stay after that, too, though.
Oh, of course, I'll stay the entire time.
Anne Marie Dunn,
Thanks for stepping up.
come on down.
Yeah.
This is Council on Aging Board of Directors. Hello, Anne.
Hello, Anne Marie.
Anne Marie, sorry.
It's okay.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
So you're looking forward to this?
Yes.
Okay, is there anything you want to tell us, or?
Basically, I like the senior center, its activities and resources, and I just wanted to help it grow bigger and better so that it's still there when I really need it.
We're all eventually.
Yeah,
gonna
we're all
try.
going to be
Yeah,
there.
I was
before you
gonna
know it.
say.
Some of us more than others.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
move that we approve Anne Marie Dunn to the Council on Aging Board of Directors to a term to expire June 30th, 2022.
Motion by Patrick, second by Mary. Any questions from the board?
Nope.
None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400. Paperwork will be upstairs in the selectman's office, and then you have to go downstairs to the clerk,
Get sworn in. Thanks for stepping up, and I appreciate your candor.
Okay, now we have the Veterans Council. And I have 4 names,
We have,
There were 3 seats.
we have 3 seats,
and I have 4 names.
and we did receive a letter from the Friends of the
Right, they recommended the 2 gentlemen who applied,
only.
the 2 veterans.
And I'm a little concerned because this seems to have some contentious issues back and forth between
Well,
the two.
all we can,
groups.
you know what, we can't get into that. All we can do is just appoint
I know, I just.
to the board and fill out their roster as that board needs.
I just want to make sure we don't put a mix of people in that don't get along, because then the committee no longer functions.
Yeah, we can't look too closely at these things.
I know.
My personal thought is, you know, I know both Mrs. Claver and Mrs. Sarnelli had applied, and then the 2 gentlemen had applied. We do already have Mr. Sarnelli on the board, so there is a
Do we?
family representation there. So my thought would be to appoint the other 3, just, I think that's the most
I agree.
sensible solution. I'm sure Mrs. Sarnelli and Mr. Sarnelli do talk across the dinner table about issues.
Do they?
Are you sure?
I don't know. I'm not so sure of that, knowing another family around here.
I abstain from this discussion.
All right, so I move we approve Donald King and Dennis Prino?
Prano,
Prano, is that how you say it?
Prano.
To the Wareham Veterans Council, to terms to expire, okay, well, we gotta do them separate, because they're two
Different
separate.
terms.
Yeah. All right, I move we approve Dennis Prano, Wareham Veterans Council, terms expired June 30th, 2021.
Second?
Motion by Patrick, second by Peter. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400.
I move we approve Donald King to the Wareham Veterans Council, terms expired June 30th, 2020.
Second?
Motion by Patrick, second by Peter. Any questions? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained,
All right, so,
400. I guess
All
they're
right.
going to go
I would
with,
move to
wanna do, yeah, but
Wait,
we gotta vote on it, right?
Eileen Claver.
gotta
Once you
vote
fill,
on it.
once you fill, then that's where the vote ends.
why don't you
Okay.
make your recommendation?
I move that we appoint Eileen Claver to a term of the Veterans Council to expire no later than...
June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Motion by Peter, second by Mary. Any questions from the board? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and I'll put the other
Okay,
application
400.
back in the mix.
Yes, and we should also thank
Thank you
Mrs.
for-
Sarnelli for stepping up
Certainly.
Yes.
and volunteering as well. It's just a numbers game.
License and permits, we have none. Okay, vote on the host agreement on the 3rd license. Now, what I've got is trade routes, I got them all here, I guess.
You have all 6.
Aged, evergreen. I'm trying to look for I know they've got the one that they like the most. All right, so,
Just for the public's information, when we decided to do the 3, at that point there, my recommendation was that the town administrator and the director of planning and economic development set the parameters for these, the different conditions, et cetera, and basically come back with us with a recommendation. I felt that the board is better off kind of sitting on the sidelines and just following through at the end after the actual pieces are put in place. That way, there's no possibility of anybody saying the Board of Selectmen were gerrymandering or doing anything to a particular person over anybody else. And I thought it was the cleanest way to do this, and we stayed this course all the way through. So I believe we're probably going to go ahead. I haven't spoke to the board at all. I haven't spoke to the town administrator or Mr. Blackland ahead of time about any of this.
the Globe Street Management?
Zyphius,
Zy-
isn't that what I
Zyphius.
believe? But just so everybody understands, we try to do this in a very simple, straightforward manner.
Okay.
There's one piece that I want to add, and I think it's important. Stuff has happened in different areas of the country. There's a lot of money involved with this. There's a lot of people investing in these firms, silently and not silently. And my concern is that whoever we give the 3rd one to for the host agreement, and even the first 2 we did, if there is new investors or anybody at all, whether it's town or outside town, I want to see that on the actual sheets that are for the application for the host agreement. If for some reason something comes up that we have a silent partner that could create a problem, I want this board to be able to terminate the host agreement. I want to make it very clear that we want this done in a very clean, professional way. I'm not going to, as long as I'm chair, which is till April of next year, play around with this any way whatsoever. So everybody understands that if you have a silent partner somewhere, and if we pick you for an application, you better change your application and make it correct. Go ahead.
All right, so the other point that I want to make is that I don't like the location they've chosen. I like them as a group, but I don't like the location. It's a terrible location, all right, where it's going to go. So I don't mind entertaining opening an agreement with them, but they're going to have to find a different spot out there, because that is the worst location in the world.
Mr. Bowen, just a quick question. Are we allowed to do that? Thank you. Okay.
So that would be my suggestion.
Then what action are we taking tonight?
Well, we can agree to have an agreement with them as the host group, because they are the best plan. Go ahead, Rich, give us an idea.
Yeah, with your permission, Mr. Chairman. I'd call it an agreement in principle subject to finalization upon satisfaction of your request for
Approved location.
a superior site.
Beautiful. That's what,
Is that
okay.
your motion?
I move we approve, how do you say it? Cyphers? Sapphires? Suffice. Okay. That we, I move to enter into an agreement with them.
Yeah. Change the name and the location? Yeah.
I'm gonna get there. We enter into agreement with them in principle, but that we
Pending a
negotiate
location
pending
change.
a location. Okay, that's just not a good spot. All right? I think it would be a bad spot for the town where it stands out there in that particular location. So that's just...
Second.
Also, we want to add in that full disclosure of all investors.
And full disclosure of all investors, by the way, is a requirement, okay? All right,
Motion is second.
okay,
Second.
it's up to you.
Motion by Patrick, second by Mary. Any questions from the board? You look confused.
Motion by,
No, never mind.
motion by Peter.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400. Thank you, everybody who applied. We appreciate the time and effort everybody put into this. It's not a free thing.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Peter seconded
All right,
I wasn't
next.
sure if the two of you both
it. No,
seconded.
he seconded it.
Discussion of the 2 to 3 projects
No biggie.
in upcoming year.
This is something we did about a month ago. I let it go for a little while for time-wise. Mary had something basically about, cameras or something to try and catch people doing trash. And actually, it exists in several other towns that are actually doing this, so it's nothing new. I forget, Patrick, you had, remember what you had?
He was the sewer dude.
Yeah, but it was something else you had.
No, there was something, and I forget what it is.
All right, well, we need to do that.
I'll have to
Peter, I
go
don't-
back over my brain and come up with
You
it.
have basically, the,
Got the redevelopment authority, Tremont Nail.
yeah, so anything new you want to add to that? Or all right, put it on the agenda for a couple weeks, because what's happening is we're almost running into town meeting already for warrant articles, et cetera. And if we delay as we go along, it will be September, and it's going to be tough, so.
I mean, I know we've talked in the past about, Patrick brought up the sign bylaw. We've talked about some of those things.
Sign bylaw really should be I hate to say it, that should be the planning board. That's where it came from. That's when I wrote the sign bylaw. I was the facilitator for that, but I had the chairman of the planning board, I had, the inspectional director, everybody sat down and did this.
I'll tell you what one of my ideas would be for a change, just to give you an idea, would be that the sign that they're allowed to put up should be relatively uniformed. In other words, you can't go out there and take a piece of 4x8 plywood and just draw, letters on it or something.
What about during elections?
Whatever, no, the answer's no.
There we go.
By the way, mine were stenciled. They were nicely stenciled.
You finally got that one, huh? Yeah, the mystery signs.
They were very nicely stenciled.
My big wood ones were done fine.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying is that sometimes we get people and they go throw these signs out, we give them permission, and then we see a sign that's just absolutely
Abhorrent.
atrocious and abhorrent. And I can think of one, by the way, which we've never given them permission to do, but we need to start talking to them about giving them permission, and that's the wigwam thing.
You guys say, does it
It
rhyme
goes
with
on
Igam?
every year, and we got these big, huge, ugly red signs that they stick out there, and I mean, it just looks like shantytown.
Why don't we do this? I'll put it out for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Put it back on the agenda. Everybody
Okay.
make notes of what they like to see changed from the existing sign bylaw. We'll put it together as a document, and then we'll give it to Ken, and let him get it through the planning board, because it is a zoning bylaw, and it really needs to come from them.
We can all write bylaws.
I know we can, I've done it before, but
Some of us do better than others at it.
I know, I'd rather get this done and just get it over
If you
with.
prefer they do it, it's fine with me, but
Yeah, because
it's not, there's nothing that we
I
can't
prefer,
do.
I prefer that they actually put it forth at town meeting. It belongs in their area, and fall town meeting is the ideal time for that.
All right. Update on the current FEMA map?
Yeah, unfortunately, Dave Pichette and Ken are not available. They knew what it was, but the things came up. I just want to make the public aware that the FEMA maps are finalized. If you have any questions at all, they're downstairs in the Inspection Services office. It is going to affect people's insurance if they have to have FEMA flood insurance. It's in place. You have the ability to have an engineer reassess your property to see what height it is from sea level. I think the newest standard now, if I'm not mistaken, is like 18 feet, is the live or no-live number as far as rates.
17.3 feet.
Yeah, but I think they run it at 18 is what the number you have to clear, or else you have serious issues. But it's very important. Town of Wareham, if we give permits out which violate the FEMA rules, we get fined. And I think, I'm not sure how many years ago it was, I think the town of Wareham got fined $20,000 or $30,000. So this is something that's important for both us and also the residents.
Those folks in Swiss Beach are going to be very upset about this.
I think that a lot of people are going to be
They
upset.
put them up 15 feet in the air because that's what they told them to do.
Yeah, they
And now
changed
they're
it.
back in the floodplain
Yep.
because it's higher. And that's
So-
just awful.
It also, what it does, it makes it very difficult for people to sell their property to someone who has to get a loan for it. So
Yeah, it
if you
does.
if you have the time, come down to Town Hall and go to the Inspection Services on the first level and take a look and see, make sure what you think you have is what you have. Thank you. Donation.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Did I miss one?
No.
All right, next up is acceptance of a medical gift account donation. It's from Deborah, how do you say it?
Pavia.
Pavia?
Yeah,
Okay. All right, so there's a $25 donation from Debbie Pavia to the Wareham Animal Gift Account. I move that we accept the gift.
Second.
Motion by Patrick, second by Mary. Any questions from the board? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 4-0-0.
Any other town business?
Mary, you have anything?
Nope.
Peter?
Nope.
Nope.
Patrick?
Nope.
Alan passes.
How about the town administrator? Does he have any other business?
Yes, he
Mr.
does.
Chairman, member of the board, we received a very important notification by the Office of the Attorney General. I don't know if you want me to read the whole thing out or just give you the
Give us a synopsis.
synopsis. Was that a group of residents from Onset, it's Miss Marilyn Knowlton, and it CC's Miss Lisa Morales. It looks like they went to the Attorney General's office saying that they believe that the lease with the, between the town of Wareham, the Buzzards Bay Coalition for the Onset Bay Discovery Center, AKA the bathhouse, was illegal. Yeah, just trying to give you the points. Basically, the AG's office runs down what their contentions are, specifically that they allege the town of Wareham disregarded various legal decisions when it leased the bathhouse. The Attorney General's office has carefully reviewed the issue. They go down through everything the town went through, including going from the selectmen to town meeting, also going to the original owners, the OBGA, and then going through the legislature and such. So bring it through all the steps. More specifically, and let's just get to the point on this. Given the circumstances described above, the Office of the Attorney General does not currently intend to take any action with respect to the issues raised in your correspondence.
So it's done?
It's done.
Okay.
They can always, if they want to sue on their own and hire an attorney, they always can. However, the AG's office will not be taking this matter up.
Yay.
It's important for people to understand that the town, basically the Onset Bay Association, which is helping to support this as well, and the Coalition for Buzzards Bay, et cetera. This is a project to benefit people of all different races, income levels, et cetera. This is not a targeted, special interest group where you have to be extremely wealthy to get to use the facility. It's just the opposite. And it's really discouraging when people sit there and try and destroy something that has no negative value whatsoever. It's all positive, and it is discouraging to have to go through this. And this is a constant issue that's coming up unfortunately, for the Onset Fire and Water District. They're running into this all the time as well, and I feel bad because it's completely unnecessary. We work hard to try and make life better for everybody, and a few people, it doesn't take much to make it a mess. So basically, my comment is, and I'm probably going to get chastised for it, you were wrong.
I don't understand myself how people want to cause these kinds of issues in something that's going to benefit everybody in a grand scale. I mean, and especially the area itself. I mean, the benefits for the area, which is really what the whole idea of the thing that began in the beginning, is that this area benefit, and it is. It is going to benefit, and it just seems crazy to me that they don't see. They just can't see that. It just doesn't. It's just beyond me.
It's not logical.
It's just not logical at all. But whatever.
Well, I think the issue is everybody likes to play lawyer, but there's a reason that people like town council and I shelled out all that money and banged all that crap into our brains in law school, spent all that time getting ready to pass the bar exams, because it takes a certain mindset to be able to read the law. It takes a certain skill. It takes a certain amount of preparation to be able to read prior decisions, to understand legal precedent, and to apply it to current circumstances. As somebody who worked very closely with Attorney Bowen, the attorneys for the Buzzards Bay Coalition, in drafting the lease, in figuring out the plan of how we could get this done, which involved going to town meeting, involved going to the legislature, involved reviving the corporation, which by the way was done at the request of the Buzzards Bay Coalition. I personally didn't see the need for it, but they did for their own reasons, because they thought it would result in a cleaner chain of title for them. I'm not going to say that I'm surprised at this, but I am pleased.
Any other comments?
I hope I never have to hear about this ever again.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
The fourth. Okay, anything else, Derek?
No, there's going to be a few things that I might recommend for bringing to town meeting, more specifically. Usually, these are the free cash items. One of them may not be able to wait, but it's come to a time where we have a few derelict buildings and properties that need to be torn down in this community. We've never had the funds really to tear them down. Or really some of the capacity. I think working with Mr. Requena, we'd like to target the top 10, what we consider the worst. And it's going to be about $200,000 probably from free cash, and take them down, lien them, and as we foreclose on them because of this, we get those funds back, and we start doing that every year until we clean some of that up. Every fall.
Yeah, well, when you're ready for something.
Just let the record reflect that Selectman Scasiotti swam in at 7:41.
Yeah. And
I guess it's raining.
It's raining out a bit, is it?
Just a little.
Geez, that's a nice hairdo.
yeah.
I like that.
And Mr. Chairman, to further that,
So you will present us when it's convenient for you.
Yeah.
Did a lot of work for you
And
to
as
do,
part of that, it's, more specifically, that office, as we know, it's understaffed. They're running around like crazy. But they're taking on things that haven't been handled really in the past.
Forever.
And I think Mr. Bowen could comment on that if you'd allow me that indulgence on some of the things he's
I think it'd
seen.
be good for people to know what's going on lately.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Mr. Town Administrator. Very briefly, I know I have spent almost every Monday for the last 2 or 3 months in Housing Court at the request of Mr. Aquina, and he, just to let you know, he's vigorously pursuing code violations, cracking down on dangerous buildings. Mr. Ethier has been in court with him. I suppose sometimes people wonder, what's happening. But they've worked really hard, and I've had the privilege of working with them in court now for many, many, many Mondays in a row in Housing Court, and they're frankly doing a great job.
I also, I don't know if you want to comment that the Housing Court is very difficult to actually get an action done that favors us as well. It's not like we're not trying. It's like a stacked deck at times.
Well, again, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, Housing Court's overwhelmed. As you sit there and wait for your case to be called, and you see the variety and number of cases that are before that Housing Court, they essentially circuit ride around the county, and they've got a tough job. And I have to say that they have treated the town of Wareham and the town of Wareham's officials, Dave and Bob, with a great deal of respect. And Dave and Bob have reached the point where they are very familiar figures to the court personnel and are treated with the kind of respect that familiarity and competence breed. So,
Nice.
you got a good crew.
Yeah, I think the key word is competence. They come in prepared, and unlike a lot of times, people come in unprepared, and the court doesn't have patience for that because they haven't got the time for it. So we are trying, people, as I've said before. It's a long process. Okay, next. All set, Derek?
Is anybody in town not?
Yes, thank you very much.
All right,
Is anybody in town
liaison
not?
reports.
Tony? Besides the rain?
Liaison reports.
Mary?
Nope.
Peter?
Yeah, I'll give a little bit from the Redevelopment Authority meeting earlier tonight. We had a very interesting presentation from FXM Associates, Inc. They actually worked back in 2007 and did a lot of analysis of statistics in Wareham. They provided a sort of an updated comparison this afternoon to us regarding how Wareham measures up to the county in areas like education, per capita income, all sorts of, you might say, census-derived data that, rather than trying to read a census report where you get lost for days in the thing, they actually distilled it down to bullet points you could see on the screen. These sorts of numbers will be very helpful in coming up with the goals that we would need to backstop a redevelopment plan, which the Redevelopment Authority is also simultaneously working on. So I just wanted to get that out there, that expect a redevelopment plan to come before the Board of Selectmen to approve at some point or another. It may require some zoning, in which case it would have to go to town meeting for approval. But if not, then it will come to this body for a vote to authorize a redevelopment plan. And once that happens, of course, the Redevelopment Authority is able to go out and take certain actions in the redevelopment districts.
I don't have a lot today. Patrick, you have anything?
I have one. I just want to say, the school building committee obviously was in here today with this thing, and I've been on that committee for quite a while now, and they are doing a very difficult job. And the difficult job is that you're trying to balance costs, with what you'd like to have and all those kinds of things. And I got to tell you, it's not easy. It really isn't, because, you know, you go to another school and you look at it and you travel around and you look at some of these places and you go, oh, we'd like to have that. Then they go back and they give you a number and you say, well, we can't have that, you know, and there's so much of that going on, because for Wareham, we can't do that. We can't have those things, you know what I mean? But we've gotten a good plan, and believe it or not, and we've saved a ton of money. And I'll tell you afterwards, I'll make a list for you of all the millions of dollars that we've saved in the process for things that we've done that have cut large amounts of costs out of the plan. And you'd be surprised. Just site work alone and other things that we've done in order to save a lot of dollars. I know it doesn't seem like it, because these are big numbers. Don't let anybody kid you. It's a big number to build a school to replace 2 schools. It's not a small number, it's a big number. The good news is we're in the 75% reimbursement, which is good. And it looks like that's where we're gonna settle, right around the 75% number. It could have been 72, it could have been whatever, but it looks like we're gonna settle at 75, which would be great. It's a difficult job, I gotta tell you, and there's so much stuff that they throw at you. The school building assistance program, I mean, it's just every minute they got something else. You gotta fill this bill, or how about jump over this hoop? You know, fly over this one, do this, do that, whatever. And they've asked us some stuff they've never asked of anybody else before. And we've managed to do it and fit the bill, including remember, one of the requirements is you have to have a plan, educational plan, a real full done educational plan that goes along with the school that has to be filed with it. That's not an easy thing to put together, you know, when you come down to it. I mean, sure, everybody knows, yeah, we got math and science, whatever. That's just touching the edges of it. So it's a lot of work, and I want to thank all those people who worked really hard. I know a lot harder than I did. All I had to do was show up pretty much and, you know, listen and try to get the numbers for you guys. But other than that, you know, they've worked a lot harder than anybody deserved, and they did a good job, and they deserve their chance to see if the town will go with it. I hope they do. We certainly need to do it, but it's up to the people to make that decision. I hope that they'll think about it carefully and know that it's not just, I know that a lot of people, children are already gone, they're already done, they're not gonna be in that school, you know, they're all over it or whatever, but you gotta think about the kids that are coming behind it. You're still part of the community, and even if you don't have kids in the school, you gotta think about what's right, and really think about it. And if you don't have any answers, please don't go to the local coffee shop, sit in the coffee shop, and talk to the guy next to you who didn't go to a single meeting, doesn't know a single thing, and he starts spewing out facts about it. Don't do that, okay? Because he's wrong.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy either. Pick up the phone and call these guys and ask the question you want to ask. Anybody will answer it. God, you can call me. You call our selectman's office, they'll give you a number, you can call me. If I don't know the answer, I'll get the answer for you. Okay? That's really the way it has to be. We have to get real facts and real answers out there, and not somebody who just wants to find a way to kill the deal, and what they're gonna do is they're gonna go out there, make up some facts, like they're getting their news off Facebook, and make up some facts, and turn around and just start spewing them out there like they're real. Okay? Let's not do that. Let's make a decision. If we make the decision that we don't want this thing after we have all the real facts, I say fine, that's what we did it. We gave everybody the right thing and we made the decision, and that's the way it was, right? But if we made decisions based on fact that isn't true, I can't accept that. I'm sorry, it's just unacceptable in my opinion. There's just too much at stake in the future of this town to make that happen. And by the way, my kids will be out of there. They're not gonna see it, okay? So they're all gone. But I still think it's the right thing to do, all right? Other than that, the sewer commissioners are meeting Thursday, if anybody has anything over there. They're gonna be talking about grinder pumps. And I know some of the people in town have some grinder pumps. And they've always, you know, there's been a lot of issues and things of that nature and so on. Well, they're gonna be talking about them, so if you really wanna talk about these grinder pumps, and there's one particular gentleman off Cranberry Highway, get over there and get to the meeting and ask the questions you need to ask right there while they're talking about grinder pumps, because they're gonna have the people that they need to talk about. All right? And that's it.
I think it's important, Patrick, that the savings that have been worked out, with the MSBA program to now, really should be put out in some kind of document.
Absolutely.
Go out to the public.
100% yes.
Because people just think we're just signing off, whatever it is. It's not
Absolutely,
the case.
100%. You're absolutely right, Alan.
It's not the case there. I'm trying to think what I want to, if I want to do anything else. I think I'm all set for tonight. We've already said it.
Wow. Should I just check them?
No,
You got a temperature or something?
we have a bunch of things coming down the road, but I really don't want to put things out until everything is actually signed, because everything just goes wonky so easy, and people, hear things and they
All
don't
right.
agree or whatever.
Well, we got a consent agenda, and we don't have any items on it, because believe it or not, Rich has been paid up to date,
Yes,
if
finally.
you can imagine.
I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Need a second? Motion by Patrick, second by Peter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, Wareham. Have a nice night.